size wise?
There's, I think it's a couple oak, couple maple, and then something else that Scott picked out.
I know we discussed trees a few months ago.
Yeah, I think we're doing 6. We're doing one kind of pine to replace the one up here that that big pine that they put the Christmas tree lights on, if that dies. There's something else that they can use.
That's a concolor fir, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a,
I
is
think
it a
it's
concolor or is it a American, well, I think there's a concolor.
Oh, there's a larch out there.
Larch, yeah, you're right, the other one's concolor. American larch.
I like larch.
They're interesting trees. You don't see that many around.
And they're hardy. Really hardy.
Yeah.
If you don't like to break leaves, it's kind of a good one too, because it's sort of blow away.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of emerald ash borer diebacks, just drive through town and just look up and you can see them.
We've treated, I have 20 some of them at the farm, and we've treated.
You do it yourself? You
Yeah.
have somebody coming? So you're doing it every year, or are you doing the?
Just started, last year was the first year, and now I've got it, like the implants, you know, the.
Oh, kind of an injection that you leave in the.
Yeah, it's an injection. We'll do that now, as soon as we get time. You can do it between April and June.
I know the guy that was doing the trees for Forest City, he started last year. He told the city that you could do, well, maybe that was a workshop they had over in Thompson. He said you could do every other tree, and the protected tree, the treated tree would help the untreated tree. That's his philosophy. He's not a.
Well, it is expensive.
Postville
So
or
if they were
somewhere
like
that
close, that would save a
Is
lot
it-
of money.
What was it, $10 an inch? Isn't that-
I did the stuff you put on the soil
Mhm.
last year, and now I'll do the injection, and then I think I'll do the soil one. I think I'm gonna rotate.
Did you have any sign of it out there at your place?
Only on one tree, and it's kind of off by itself, but they're all trees I planted, so I mean, they're not
I mean, back,
40 years old, I suppose.
back in the 90s, I mean, everybody went through the 90s, everybody was planting ash, everywhere, the wind breaks. And they have found that a couple tiny percent will not get infected.
Hmm.
I mean, like a
I
fraction.
have a few elms at Cherry Hill too. That's,
Very cool. Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consider for approval the minutes agenda.
make a motion to approve the minutes in the agenda.
I'll second it. A motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the minutes and agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. 9 a.m. public hearing for the fiscal year 24 budget amendment. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
There's a different,
Different process.
no, there's a different agenda. I
Oh,
somehow messed up the newspaper. I didn't have enough time on the
Okay.
newspaper things. I don't know how I messed it up, but it didn't get into the paper in time.
so we're
So
Did
we're
not do
setting
this.
a new
hearing.
hearing. So we're setting the public hearing for June 12th at 9 a.m.
All right.
I
So
can make
I'll
it.
withdraw my motion then.
Do you want me to make it, or you're gonna do it over?
No, I just withdraw my motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion to set the public hearing for the 2024 budget amendment for June 12th at 9 a.m.
I'll second that. They never did get that passed for being able to do everything online instead of relying on papers, did they?
I don't
I know I read something yesterday that said that some open meeting law changes did not go through, but I didn't read what they were.
Yeah, they were trying to get it to where you don't have to rely on the papers,
Yeah,
as long as you have papers with a minimum, that less than the minimum circulation, All right, so we've got a motion on the floor, made by Smith and a second from Derby to set the new public hearing for our fiscal year 24 budget amendment for June 12th at 9 a.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. So number 3 is a moot point, and well, you got the new agenda, I'll have to go up there. All right, Robert Schwartz, Conservation, discussed the Nature Center and ARPA money spent.
Yeah, as far as the ARPA funds, I happened to stop in and visit with Carla on Friday, and I knew I was on the agenda, but I didn't know specifically why. And you got, the supervisors had approved $937,810.15. And Carla said that it looked like we'd gone over. I was surprised because previous couple of months when my board had approved spending of the last amount of ARPA that was available, I had all of the claims, everything in front of me, ARPA funds. But when I matched it up with Carla's spreadsheet, there were 3 small claims that were paid from ARPA that had not showed up on my spreadsheet for some reason. And one of them had several line items that were being used for a reimbursement. So maybe that was why. But it was $966.87. And, occasionally we'll use a wrong line item or something like that. In this case, for the last claim that went to Kingland, even if I would have had those three payments in front of me, I would have changed the amount that came out of Conservation Trust and ARPA by that amount, $966.87, and then everything balances in ARPA. Here's ARPA, here's Conservation Reserve. So what I would like to do then is just change this, make a correction, and then we're back to zero. We zeroed it out. But it wasn't intentional, and now, like I said, I didn't know until Friday when I went back to my office and I compared the spreadsheet that I had used to pay the last claim to Kingland. And actually, I should say the last one that we used ARPA funds was in December. The last claim that we paid to Kingland, that was in 1501, which is our Conservation and Nature Center line item, and those funds were provided by through the foundation. They deposited, gave us a check for the amounts. So that's where the discrepancy was. So I was surprised, like when I talked to Carlin.
So my question from a previous meeting was, I had found in our budgets, there was money in the budgets for the project in the hundreds of thousands that hadn't showed any being spent. Did you ever figure that out?
Unless you're looking at 1501, which would be where the balance up until we paid it off, or paid off all we owed to Kingland, which is down to $25,400 now.
We're talking, it was over
Yeah.
$600,000.
Yeah, I don't think that was the,
I don't know what that would.
It was,
That doesn't. Yeah,
Okay.
we've just about paid the contract between the county and Kingland, minus the 25.
well, I guess my concern is when we made the motion in Thompson that day after your bids were opened, we wanted to help you get started, and we had originally allocated $500,000
Right.
out of ARPA for it, but then we guaranteed the project to move forward with the remaining monies, 400 and some thousand.
And the intent, and still is the intent, is to start to reimburse the county as much as we can. but we got 25,400 left.
Of the total amount of the 500 plus the 3?
No, that money, with that correction, the ARPA funds will have expended. And then the balance of 25,400 is what we owe Kingland. And I'm not sure the 600,000, that doesn't, it's not easy to read the spreadsheet necessarily. But we have outside expenses. We have furnishings that are coming in this next week or so, but those are being paid for by the foundation.
The unfortunate part of it is, we've got costs over at the public health building. We're counting on ARPA funds for 2, and
Right.
that's gonna put a damper on that. That's getting closer to completion.
And at the next meeting, I can bring it up to my board again, and they're aware of it, they haven't forgotten about it, to see what they want to do. We have funds in our Conservation Trust Fund. Some of those we've used for pass-through for different projects, including this one. Our special projects budget, that's pretty much line items for specific parks, recreation areas, cabin, different things. And then we have some REAP funds, so not a huge amount, but yeah, it hasn't been lost on the supervisor, or on the conservation board, that what they agreed to.
Well, and then the other part of it was, what was I thinking about? There was, one time you were making a draw on the ARPA funds, and you said you were just doing that because you needed to get the CAT grant. You have to pay for it first, and then you get reimbursed. But
Yeah,
where does
yeah,
that
and
money
we have-
go? And
We have $12,500 of CAT funds that they've held until we submit a bill. I think it's after June.
Who states?
Oh, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the CAT grant was strictly based on about a 20% reimbursement up to $250,000, and then they hold back kind of a retainage fee at the very end, which is what they're doing right now. For 12, I believe it's 12,500.
So you expended all, just so we're all clear, you expended all the foundation money and all the monies that conservation had.
Everything that they have given us, the foundation, we have been expending, because when
Before
get
the ARPA funds.
it was a combination. And it was, no, I mean, it wasn't, I'm trying to think. No, I mean, it was kind of as we were going along, we were spending out of both.
So there's no money left in the foundation.
They just received a donation for $44,000 a couple weeks ago for furnishings, specifically just for furnishings. And, yeah, so those funds are expended, but they still have funds available, and they have been providing them there's been some outside expenditure like the furnishings and a few other things associated with the building project, but we haven't had a meeting now for probably been at least 2 months now, I suppose, since the foundation met. Some displays, and those have been donated. We're putting up we got a new ID sign coming. Somebody came forward, donated the money for that. So
For the outside signage?
outside sign down at the road. That's going to say. I'll show you an image of it.
you have to have DOT permit for that.
I contacted him, and he said as long as we stay out of the right of way, it's not a visibility issue. We don't have lighting that distracts. Pretty much, I showed him what we're going to do.
When they say lighting, as in digital or any lighting at all?
At that location, we don't have power. I mean, we have it, but we don't have an outlet there. I was thinking maybe even solar. But he said as long as it's not a distraction to drivers. That was pretty simple verbiage on that one. The building is essentially completed. We are still holding a little bit of retainage fees for a couple of small things. One of them being a service panel on a electrical panel, the door, I should say, not the panel. It's been on order for a year and a half, almost. It sounds like it might be coming in a couple weeks. And a couple of small things. And we're still looking for funds, grants for.
Well, I guess my fear is that the funds that come in aren't going to be going towards replacement of the ARPA funds. That they'll be just going towards more and more expenses on the
Well,
building.
like I said, I'll talk to my board when we meet again next month and see what. We don't have too many sources. I mean, our conservation trust fund is at about $69,000 right now. But as far as our budget goes, I think we only have about $25,000 that we can spend in this fiscal year from that. But our special projects is a little over 43,000, and our REAP is at 33,000 prior to claims being turned in.
So what are we looking at here, Carla?
That's the ARPA funds, and if you look under, so there's one line item, and then the second line item where it says buildings, that's the conservation building, and that's, if you look at the,
Look at the same one I've got.
no,
I just ran the new one today.
there's a $940,810.15. That's how much has been spent towards the nature center so far.
Wait, did you deduct the 3,000?
Well, yeah, you gotta deduct the 3,000 for the Chosen Valley testing, because that's out of the nurses, and that was out of fiscal year. It was too late to make a journal entry.
And then we would need to correct that $966.
I did that yesterday.
Oh, thanks.
So it's 937.
Yep.
So that account 1501 on the last,
That is the one that, whenever we get donations towards the nature center, that's where it goes, 1501.
because it showed a lot of money still available.
Well, I'm trying to think when that budget was created, as far as the number, that would have,
It's this fiscal year, so.
yeah, so,
So it was,
See, we
it was
took-
hundreds of thousands of dollars, wasn't it? When we looked at it before.
Well, it showed a total budget of $1,047,000 with, I think, 356,758 expended. There's still $690,000 available. That's probably only on donations coming in. That's how it's funded.
the 1501 was grants, state, any kind of private or public grants that we received, the Conservation Board received, goes in 1501 to pay the bills.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Does the CAT grant go in there?
The CAT grant had to go through the county, yeah, that was strictly between the county and the economic development, highway economic development. But the 600,000, that is not really.
Do we have a report on the income side on 1501, what has come in?
We can run it.
Yeah, let's.
From just this fiscal year?
year,
Okay.
then it'd be apples for apples.
Thank you.
And you know, so when the contract was signed in July of 22, construction started October. So we were using funds and we were expending money up until the end of that fiscal year. I don't know how that, so then when we budgeted then for 23, 24, we would have done that, about December.
So I'm guessing the money in place would have rolled into the new year.
Yeah, anything we would have. We didn't have a lot of bills, honestly, to start with until about March or so of that.
It's after the first of the year for sure. Here it shows
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at, most of what we had was
4/19,
was military.
5/18, 23, when it really started. So Carla, on this printout,
Yes.
in the category for his, the first item is actually Chosen Valley for the nurses.
Yeah, and that
That's good.
should be up in
Okay, so
the,
that
That's the
lowers-
3,000.
That's the
Yeah.
3,000. So that
Turns
makes
it into
it
937.
937.
Yep.
810.
Yeah, you'll see there, we really didn't have any, well, this would have been just ARPA until April 23.
I ran the revenue and expenditures for the same time frame.
All right.
So is that 300,000?
Actually, there was 690 still available,
Mm-hmm.
but revenue coming in. There was the total expected. There was the actual, so that's why it's only 690.
Mm-hmm.
Something like he was talking. 5,000 left. All right, that clarifies that, because the revenue, you can't spend it out of 1501 if it hasn't come in.
Yeah, we don't spend it unless we know it's there.
Well, I guess you understand what where
sure.
I'm coming from on this. We've heard a lot of flack for putting that much into the project and in a guarantee, and we tried to explain to them that, well, part of it's just a guarantee to make sure it's gonna move forward, but it all got spent.
Well, yeah, and those guarantees were made because you already had expenditures out there, otherwise it would have been to wait.
And that might have been even higher cost.
Maybe, but prices were pretty high at the time.
Yeah, we've been told that we wouldn't have been able to build it for the same amount of money today.
I tell you, I just got done buying concrete the other day, and that has more than doubled since COVID. It's just horrible. All right, well, I guess I don't have any more questions on that.
If you would like this to attend, any of your board meetings or anything to reiterate anything, we were
I'm
more than
happy to pass along and express your concern.
We did talk about possibly the supervisors meeting with your conservation board at your next meeting, just to talk about our challenges going forward.
The next meeting will be
Early June.
second Monday in June.
So our concerns were with in your hiring processes too, and looking at your budgets.
You know, you know,
June 10th would be the next one.
okay. And we talked about Carla being there too, because she does the budgets, and, you know, I think it'd be a way to enlighten your board what we're gonna be up against going forward with the state mandates and restrictions.
And that's at
8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock still, isn't it?
Yes. I'll send it to Jim.
Thank you.
So I suppose we'll have to post that if we're all gonna be there. All right. Thank you for the information.
Yeah.
Consider for approval resolution for ARPA monies.
I have I have a resolution here, I just wanna make sure that it's what you want. I have the 50,000 for recording, because I was gonna put my money into a separate resolution for the, the $100,000.
Land and Water Trust Fund.
Yep. And then the public health building, I put $1.2 million there. I don't know if you want that more or less. Conservation building for $937,811. And the water filter for the courthouse not to exceed the $2,258.38.
Okay.
Do you want anything else there, or?
So what's the total on that then?
It's $2,190,069.38. So I know which is actually more, but I know there's interest on that money
Yeah,
too.
that's right. How much interest have we accrued on this?
Well, I'd have to ask.
I know,
Julie.
when we did the cash count in her books over there, I saw what the actual.
Yeah, I'd have to do a revenue on that fund,
Yeah,
because it would have the interest.
It's over a period of a couple of years, so you have to account for the interest
Maybe.
last year and this year, and I don't know how the.
I mean, I could just run the reports
let me
for
see.
whatever you want, and
From
that'll
when
show all the
Do a
interest.
report from when the money came in till now.
Yeah, all the
Yeah, when did
interest.
we decide we got that money? 2021? Is that why I could run that date, Carla?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
It'd be
that's
nice
when
to know what we actually have
have gotten.
available.
Yeah.
Because there's not much interest from here on, probably, because we've.
No, because we spent it. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should just table this one for now until we get that information there, and then we can finalize this later.
March 11th, 21.
Yeah, if she has
Casey
Tyler
Tyler
on
on
here,
there?
I can just run it here instead of going
Oh,
back
there it
and
is.
forth. Mhm.
Just trying to get your exercise this morning, Chris.
I can just go over it quick. So I probably have
Yeah,
about
the
those.
first of the year, I showed 2,049,894.
Yeah.
But we should add interest since then. But I don't know, at that point, had money been expended before that?
Yeah, some
Because we
had.
had bought the bottle filler,
Mm-hmm. And some of the public health money.
anything public health. So
Well, we purchased,
anything in 23,
purchased
that's a lot.
property.
Yeah,
There's a lot that Oh, that's right, you said that number included the Land and Water Trust Fund too.
The what?
Didn't you have the Land and Water Trust Fund monies?
Yes, it's in there too.
That kind of threw it.
What's that? Land and Water Trust.
It's a separate piece of ARPA.
It wasn't, it was like 100,000.
It was $100,000.
We put 50,000 of that towards, no, was it 30?
Like 30.
30,000 of that towards, trying to save, rural residences.
The
Giving
water,
monies towards,
water sewer.
Is that
Water,
wells and
sewage.
septic?
sewage projects
I
or,
think we only had a couple,
there was two applications.
yeah.
And they're in the, they're both getting close to done, so. I think they'll both probably qualify.
Thank you.
So we're still short about, but, okay, so does this include the Land and Water Trust Fund monies in it then too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right in the middle, that local assistance
Oh, I see.
of the first page.
Okay. So, how do we deal with this then, if we're about $30,000 difference in our total versus, do we have to lower our public health to try and balance it, or,
Oh, hold on.
we're gonna have that much interest going forward?
Really wasn't that much anyway, you think $1 million on interest should make more than that,
Yeah,
right?
Only short time period.
that's weird. 1 month is 263, another month is 290, another month is 472.
Well, I suppose we were taking money out, though.
Oh, this was probably before we got our second payment, maybe. Then it doubled. More than doubled. Interest kept going up, so yeah. So that's the total on interest then. So would 51,313 be the total interest?
I didn't look at it. I just read it.
Looks like
It's
it.
just under total activity, that's the
Yes, yep.
total activity, so that would be the interest.
So it's accounted for here.
So you got,
28,000 difference.
so in the resolution, you're saying the 1.2 million, and then the conservation is the 937,811. And the 50,000 is for recording in your office or in the recorder's
That's the reporter's office, which, yeah,
Because you're going to fund yours elsewhere.
well,
It's still.
it all
this
comes out
part.
of this money.
Okay.
That's the part here. Is that correct? Right in the middle of the page on
Yeah, that's the-
page 1?
Little.
Yep.
That's,
That's where that's coming from.
got it.
So it looks like there's a difference of $27,612.67. Is that correct? Nick? From what,
Yeah, so we probably, I don't know,
do we just lower the public health number down that much or thereabouts?
and have them fund that out of their
Yeah,
budget.
yeah,
Because we talked about that at public health board meetings as well.
but we want to, through a resolution, allocate every penny, right?
Yeah, well, and then we're gonna need to allocate, we'll also have to allocate the other through a resolution as well.
What other?
The 60,000 for the, for my office and the 30,000
Oh,
for
the
the,
separate one
That
then?
other fund, yeah,
A separate one,
Mhm.
okay.
yeah,
What about those well repairs?
that's what we're talking about.
Oh, gotcha.
that's that fund, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I just want to make sure that was in there. Because I know there's what, two.
But that won't eat up all that money either, so.
Are you thinking that some of that money could be used towards that, because we
Well-
had probably 20,000 on it, or yours is gonna be 60, you said?
Yeah,
So
Okay, so
what's
we're
the
gonna be
balance then of that?
10,000,
Still be short, yeah.
about 10,000 left is all.
I
So
would
I
say,
think-
I'd say public health on
Well,
that.
are we better off to over allocate and then just not, we just can't take any more out of it and at the end? That gives us that, variable, or do you have to go to the penny?
well, we're never gonna get it to the penny with interest.
Yeah, I know. Can we over allocate so we have some variance in between the two portions?
Why don't we table this till next week so I can do some more research
Yeah,
and see what people are doing with that? And then
okay. That'd be good.
I'll let you know.
Okay. We're getting down to close. All right, table that till next week. Auditor's office will discuss drainage matters.
I forwarded you the email from Steve Anderson.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know what Mr. August, he's not gonna like it, but the bill will have to be as is. When
Kind
we-
of at the point now where if there's gonna be legal action, I think we have to go off of what is legal
And that is the,
by code.
and it, we are doing it by code and the district has to pay for it. So it'll go as what it should have been in the beginning. So I just wanted to make that out loud, that it'll just go as how it normally would be. Would have been nice if he'd have gone with that, or generous offer, but
And it's not even his property. Isn't it a relative's property?
I believe so. I believe he farms it or has something to do with it, but
All right, well, guess we'll go by the code. Did Gary Helgeson talk to you? And, okay, he talked about coming in today to kind of go over that project a little bit, but he didn't show up, so.
yeah, no, I haven't heard from him
So
either.
he's working on it.
Oh, good, good, perfect.
I don't know, I think it ended up mostly getting planted, I think there were still wet spots in it, but,
What project are you talking
that's,
about?
on Jeff Mathis's,
DD one, lat one?
that repair job for 2,400 feet.
If he's going to do that and it's over $10,000, I do need an estimate.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
what
need
he's
to
doing,
get
is getting
letters
stuff
out.
Together, so,
Because I'm sure he'll be done by June.
and that
to bill it out, so people will need to be aware of the
With
assessment.
16-inch tile, and they don't make 16-inch tile.
Right,
You have to go to 18.
yep, which is good by code.
But I think the 12 would still be 12.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I guess the biggest thing is, do we do it this summer, disturb everything, or do you just do it first thing in the fall, once the crops are out, you know?
I'd rather not pay crop damage.
Yeah.
So if we
That's-
need to
we'll
wait, we
talk
need to
to
wait.
him about when he comes in.
Mm-hmm,
I'll probably talk to Jeff too.
yeah. I would rather wait than if that's the case.
It'd have been better if you proceeded with this last year.
Yep.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Right?
Other than that, I don't have anything for drainage.
I don't have anything else either.
All right. Discuss with possible action FEMA payment from 2019 to Cassuth County for DD 3-.
Marge called me on Friday,
2009,
2018.
19.
So that's when we had that big FEMA project. We did our county, we went through the whole deal. We did not make any other county pay for our portion of FEMA. We just did ours as is. She said that she and I had had a conversation a long time ago about this, and I'm sorry that I don't recall it. She said that her part was disallowed by FEMA. They did not like the riprap that they had used or that they even put it on. And I said, well, why did you put anything on that they weren't going to allow? I said, "Yeah, I had to do reports all the time to the FEMA to say what we were doing, how we were doing it, to make sure it was allowed." I said, and they didn't have it fixed for 3 years. And then all of a sudden it's disallowed and she wants us to pay our portion. Well, we own 96% of this district. Why did we not take control of this in 2019 if this was going to be the case?
Yeah.
I said, I've never said anything to my landowners about paying
So this portion was
$20,000.
just in there, just barely in their
This,
county.
this whole bill was strictly fixed in their county, that they own 3% of. And I told her, I said, I'm going to recommend to the board that we do not pay this. This is 5 years after the fact. We could have had it done in 2019. We would have had it done correctly with FEMA,
Why does she know now that it was disallowed?
because it came back from FEMA. Because I don't know if
This
the
late
paperwork,
though, or a long time ago?
this is just now, I guess, that she's getting it back from FEMA.
That's
So
better.
I don't understand any of why this has taken so long.
From 19 to 24.
Uh-huh. So,
Is there any way
When-
to resubmit to FEMA without the riprap?
well, they've already done it.
I know, but without the cost of the riprap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they did theirs.
Maybe they just don't want to pay for that
When
portion.
when we did FEMA in our county, the guy from FEMA was in our office almost
He was pretty clear too.
daily.
Brian, I still remember his name. I mean, he and I talked just about every day.
And he was
we-
in our office at least once a week. And we made sure that we did exactly what they wanted. We made sure that it was correct. We made sure that it was done.
I mean, it was a lot of work. Carla did a FEMA project before I was here. It's a lot of work, and you guys have done it. But you have to do it.
And you have
And
to
you
do
do
it right.
it in a fashionable time. You can't wait 2 years to have, and it's a ditch. Clean it out. I don't understand what took so long in the first place.
So what percentage of this is it that they're asking to pay?
Our 96%, 96.46.
I see.
So they want us to pay $21,000.
Out of a $22,000 bill.
Yes.
Wow.
And to just hear about it on Friday from 5 years ago is not right.
So was a certain kind of riprap substituted or something from the
See, I have no idea.
Rootsil Excavating Inc. from Burt?
And
Right.
it's only $7,000 of the bill or something, the riprap is. So if that was the part that was disallowed, what else did they do? Their 3.6 whatever percent of the ditch can't be that long. This is the same, you know, we had that project that we were gonna do together that they were gonna charge like however many $100,000,
It was
$300,000, whatever it was. And we took it over and got it down to less than $100,000 because we were the majority county. Well, I don't know what they're doing, but it sure isn't right.
Yeah, the riprap is worth six grand.
They
Yeah, the
have
riprap,
hauling for
6,000.
They have hauling for riprap
Oh.
too, so you gotta add the two numbers.
So it's 12 to
So it's
haul
like
it.
18 or
12 plus
19,000.
6. Oh.
So,
And then they have hours with the long reach, so
so
some of
they
that's
did
probably riprap,
507
too. Most of the bill. riprap.
Mm.
ton. Because the quantity is here. So they
507
did
ton.
507.93 ton of riprap in their how little portion of ditch.
That's a lot of riprap.
So my recommendation is 100% we don't pay it.
And was there an engineer on this project?
This is what she has, this is what she
Just
sent
a
me.
repair?
Like I said, or like she said, when we do FEMA in our county, it's in our county. We don't, because it's FEMA, we don't have anyone else pay it. We deal with it ourselves and we just do it.
Right. It's not fair to Cassuth County that we had a FEMA, or vice versa.
And it's not our fault that FEMA didn't pay it. So
Right.
So,
Who are you suggesting pays this?
Cassuth County
Sioux County what?
Their
landowners,
district.
their
district.
side of the,
Their side of the district is
Yes.
separate.
Yeah.
they're 3%.
I don't know. if
So it looks like they had on that third sheet. So it looks like they had claimed $27,000 and allowed was $27,000. So are they saying that the repair was $50,000 and half of it wasn't allowed? What did they need? I mean, did the ditch all fill in with dirt and they had to scoop it out? And that was paid in 2022, March of
So
2022.
did they bill their landowners the lower portion years ago?
I don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
but the
That's
remaining.
That's the other thing, is if they're going to bill us and we're 96%, we need to be the lead county and we
Yeah.
need to take care of it. They can't play this game with us.
Yeah, I don't remember any discussion on it at all.
No,
And we were probably meeting with them back then on the
On other
Raging
stuff.
Buffalo,
Yep,
so we were seeing them occasionally.
and if I did say way back when that we would pay our share, I would have never guessed this was it. This should never be. I don't think we had this much on our own side.
well,
Well,
and
the request
you
for,
know better than to tell Marge that we would pay our share of
Right.
anything that Cassuth does.
Right.
but the request for repairs was really basic. Just broken outlet pipes, sloughing of banks,
Mhm.
you know,
Right,
so I can see
This
where
is-
you,
but 507 tons of riprap?
I'd like to drive down and see that.
It's ridiculous.
25 loads. I mean, it takes a lot of riprap if you're gonna completely coat a bank, around a bend or something like that.
How much riprap did we didn't use that much on our 92 project, did we?
I don't think I've ever seen 507 ton.
I mean,
Oh, we didn't
That's
use
400
that much
feet.
riprap up there.
That's
Where is
400
there even
feet there.
riprap up there?
On the new ditch?
Oh,
Where we opened the ditch up?
And you only did the lower quarter of it.
Yeah.
How much was on that one, Ethan?
I don't
Oh.
know.
you know, some of our like bridge projects will put 60 or 80 ton total on both sides. You know, if this is 5, 6 locations or something,
How
you
many ton do you haul in a semi?
22.
22. I mean, it's 23, 25 loads
Yeah,
of rock there.
then you gotta get it to the field, you gotta,
So is this something we should ask,
or just reject and,
or, yeah, reject it, or even put the ask out there though to our drainage lawyer, professional, and just find out?
It's up to you. I say we don't pay it.
I would say initially we don't pay it, but we should probably get an opinion maybe from IDDA on it
That's what I think.
for the untimely notification and loss of control.
But what are they gonna say? I mean, this is over.
Yeah,
It should have been done this way, or
It would-
it should have been done this way, but
It
Do
would
we have a leg to
confirm
stand on?
that we should not pay it.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what the general consensus is here, but it might be nice to have a little 15-minute conversation.
I can call John.
yeah.
That's what I would do.
And we're not, I mean, we get along with those people. over
I don't
there.
wanna be a bad neighbor
No,
at all.
yeah. I guess I'm a little miffed why we didn't get control to start with.
I wish I would know the length of what they did.
Yeah, that wasn't very.
It's not anywhere on.
It says in 2 sections, that's all I know.
So
The
I don't
map
know
on
how
the
long
back.
their part of the ditch is,
Do you,
physically in feet.
can
I
you
don't know.
tell on the map how?
Well, it said 23 and 27 on the one thing. Yeah, 23 and 27, so
Several
you're looking-
locations, broken outlet pipes, sloughing off banks.
here's 27, here's
That was-
23,
7, 23, and, oh, just 27 and 23.
so it must have been
Did you see the date on that,
on the petition.
on the request for repairs?
19, June 19.
Yep. And it took 3 years from that to get it fixed? There's no way.
So is there an actual, see if the invoice was here for Greg Silver?
That was dated 12/21
Really?
for 27,000.
Well, I know we wait for contractors to get things done, but that's getting a little ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's a whole year, from June 19 almost,
It's a year and a half.
yeah. So, took them a year and a half to fix it. 3 more years to bill us?
Yeah,
Or
that
3 more years to get FEMA?
was the time period when tile contractors were all behind and
Yeah.
we were all
And
behind.
then 2.5 years to bill us.
Or get it denied by FEMA? What was happening in the meantime?
I suppose, yeah, it took it probably took about 2 years to get denied by FEMA by the time they.
Why
got
would
the
it take that
paperwork
long?
done.
We were done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Response was pretty quick, wasn't it?
yeah. Because we had to fill out, I don't remember if it
Something
was
didn't
monthly or
get
quarterly
filed
reports.
right or something here.
We
And-
did quarterly,
And so I would have known right away if they were gonna disallow something. Not 3 years. I would have been on top of it. I mean, why didn't she keep on it, or I don't know.
I would
can't-
say don't pay it, make a phone call and just run it past.
So do you wanna table it? Or make a motion?
I guess I'd rather table it pending feedback from IDDA.
I agree.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I was curious.
It wasn't a very good Friday afternoon between these 2 things.
I liked your comment actually in the email.
I don't even remember what I said, I was not very happy.
Something like, we're having fun now, I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
what it was.
So. All right, that's all I have.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
thanks. Number 8, I better look at that one. Number 7, Scott Miners, engineer, will discuss secondary road beds.
Jump right over you. Thanks.
All right, no decisions to be made on this, but we talked about DD 71 and 5 and Jim Benson's drainage request. Well, 2 weeks has passed, and I kind of finally have something put together on that. You guys want to, review it and kind of tell Jim we'll talk about it next week, that kind of thing, or how do you?
I think we'd like to review it. See,
I can send it to you, right after the meeting. I can even give you a copy today if you want. But I just kind of finished up the map today, so it hasn't had a hard proofread. I haven't had it reviewed by my office.
because I was out there and really kind of looked and kind of, eyeballed it, and I'm like, well, that's a great area,
So maybe there's some more questions that I need to answer too.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like a copy of what you have, even though it's not.
you can give her a hard copy and just send it to me, right, send it to all of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
send it to all of us.
I'll do that, and then maybe we can take your comments, work them in there, and then,
And then get back together.
yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
I drove by it too, but
Yeah, I got off in the ditch and I was looking at the culverts and looking, I don't know why that one culvert was.
Kind of amazing how much water flows through there, really, for such a small little district. Okay, enough on that then. We'll get your comments in the meantime. What else do I want to say? We had one company come and do their dust controls. One company hasn't been here yet, so that's earlier than normal. So I would think people ought to be pretty happy with that. We're 2 or 3 weeks early on that. Our guys are kind of well into their rock and gravel run. Some roads are getting rock, limestone rock. Some roads are getting pit gravel, and some roads are getting a combination of both. This year we're doing more of a combination of both than any year in recent history. So we kind of are knocking out the rock and the gravel ones first, and then going to the mixed miles. So we've kind of been all over the county trying to complete the rock and gravel ones first. So people have probably noticed that we have a lot of trucks on gravels right now. Got good moisture, so the guys have gotten a lot of blading time in. Roads look really good in my opinion. And that,
We're gonna start mowing blacktops tomorrow.
You're saying the grass is growing?
It's growing this year, that's for sure.
So what's the date on the mowing again, that you can't mow before?
we mow when we're ready.
It's a budgetary decision based on allowable time and
We try to get mowing before the weeds start growing on the shoulder. Keeps, mows nicer, keeps seed now
Weed
again.
seed down.
and you try not to have to do it too many times during the year, right? If you do it too early, then you almost have to do it another time, or,
Yeah,
That's probably more the case with gravels. On pavements, we normally do 3, if not 4 rounds, so.
so we started growing season a lot earlier this year, it seems like.
So you use your leased tractor for this, and the mower we own.
Yeah, so we're leasing a tractor for the summer like we always do for the Batwing. In the fall, that lease tractor will become ours through that purchase agreement. And then it will be outfit with the side and rear mowers.
Oh, so it'll switch to a side rear.
Nice.
It'll become
And then
one of our fleet of 3.
So then, are you planning on another lease after
Yeah,
that,
what will
or?
happen after the fact?
Right, we would try to lease another one next year. like we have. I mean, we've probably done it for 6, 7 years straight, leased a new one for the summer for 300 hours, whatever it is, just to do our batwing work.
So, trying to remember the inventory on the ones that are doing, the side mowing now. What do we have there?
How many tractors?
Yeah,
Well, we have 3.
3,
The one blew an engine,
yeah,
and we replaced that engine, and so that one is operating this summer.
Okay.
That one is already spoken for on that trade.
okay,
So in the fall, that one will
That's
go
the
back,
one that's-
and then we'll switch the batwing tractor to a side and rear mowers.
so it'd be a trade on the lease buyout.
Yeah, it was a little bit interesting, and it was like a year time frame between when the deal was made and when it all comes to
Okay,
fruition.
and then you've got one more then that you're using. Do you remember what that one was?
One more.
Well, the one, you had the one that the motor blew and you replaced the motor.
Yeah,
There's one more tractor.
2 others.
two others.
Two others.
We had 2 62, 30 hours.
So we own 3, lease 1.
Own 3, lease 1. That's kind of the standard setup for the last decade.
And your rotation schedule on those.
Well, you know, all 3 of them were bought in like 2001 to 2003, so they all are getting old at the same time, but the other 2 are pretty new. Bought in
18 and 19.
18 and 19, so we'll have our mower fleet in good shape after this year.
Probably gonna have to be.
Yeah, they run their wheels off them in the summer. The mowers get, you know, every hour they're spinning blades. You know, they work hard.
Are the mower park gonna last as long as a tractor or less, or?
Seems like you guys are rebuilding parts of the mowers all the time.
Not too, we don't do a whole lot of rebuilding on them. I mean, just your normal maintenance parts for the most part, I guess.
As long as you're not hitting like bridges and things that are real hard.
Rocks that people
I
push out.
heard a story about a grader from another county south of here that had hit a bridge, ripped off the whole barrier for the ring and everything.
Depending on the bridge, most of our rails you just clean right off with the blade.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
concrete one would
What
stop.
they hit, but it was a lot. It was only 70 hours on it.
Ripped off the circle.
Yeah, the whole circle.
That was done here in 2010.
Yeah.
It was brand new. Ziegler actually paid that bill though.
Some people that hit power poles.
We had a light pole.
It was just a
Couple
line.
years
It was
ago.
just the line. It wasn't.
Oh,
I see a lot of, are there badger holes, or what are they all along the roads? Are they badgers? What are, I mean, those giant
I'd say foxes
Yeah,
is
foxes
one
sometimes.
common thing.
foxes?
Foxholes.
They're all over.
Yeah. Pretty normal.
Yeah.
I've got a groundhog that goes into my driveway and
They
We
leave
we got
quite a-
work orders galore, which are suspected tile holes or culvert holes, and then eventually, you know, we fill them in temporarily and they never show up again. Animal, clear it out, we're done. Happens all the time, it's pretty common.
welcome to nature.
Yeah.
Anything
I
else?
think that's all I have, not on the agenda.
Do you have any more?
I don't.
Okay.
Roads look good.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, good.
150th before the church is a little rough.
Oh, that new material?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. My 3/4 ton. I just feel like something's gonna fall off my wheel or something.
So when
Just
you
like-
blend those two different kinds, how do you blend them? When you put them in the truck,
Well, in the past, it's just been separate loads,
you just,
one and then another,
oh,
and then the blade man will mix them back and
Do you
forth.
go a little faster when you spread it then?
Yeah. Normally we put 300 tons a mile down with material, and then for mix, we put 150, and then another 150 on top.
So they tighten chains too, don't they?
Oh,
Narrow
that's how
up the
you do
gap.
it. Hmm.
But we have some stockpiled at Sunnyside, so we might try to mix some of that into the boxes, so it's not quite so much logistics.
All right. Move on to number 8, consider for approval contract with HRS Surveying for monument preservation, LFM R20 North, 7X95 on LFM R50 at 830 7X95, and on LFM R16 South 7X95, and on LFM Rice Lake 7X95.
These project numbers are important for the minutes, but nobody else probably understands what they mean, but these are
Clear.
4 projects that are on your urban renewal map for projects next summer. R20 is a hot in place recycle and then new pavement. R16 is hot in place recycled. R50 is hot in place recycled, and then the Rice Lake, probably some mill and overlay. Haven't quite fine tuned that scope yet. But in any case, they're all asphalt work, in which case the little pins that are pounded into the road that mark the section corners, they all get destroyed during the process. So we have to hire a surveyor to mark those and reestablish them after the project. And then they also put the stakes in the road shoulder during the project, so we know the location of all the work and can do proper documentation.
Those are offset stakes then? Or?
Yeah, they'll put them right on the edge of the shoulder. They'll say 1 + 0 0, 2 + 0 0, whatever the stationing from the plans, so that we can go back and look in our notes and kind of understand, you know, where we took samples, all those sorts of things. HRS did our last job. They're great. They do a good job.
And this, the monument preservation is required for any road projects, right?
That's right. Yep.
Where are they out of?
Well, they have an office in Clear Lake.
I think we talked about this.
Yep, they got 3 offices, Waverly and New Hampton, but Joe Sneathen is their surveyor from Clear Lake. He'll come up and probably be the one on site for this work and his crews. This one has no label on the signature block, so I'll have you guys sign that if you approve it. And we shouldn't have any payments till after July 1st, but at that point, between then and September, we'll make the payments and get reimbursed from urban renewal.
And that was allowable then.
Yeah.
So these are broken down, these lump sums are for each project?
Right, so all of those projects on that map, we will track independently so that we have actual costs and, you know, track it in a project accounting way. And, you know, so at the end of all of these projects, we'll be able to give you final costs.
So, you know, small project takes so much work.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Talking about
making sure it
Rice Lake.
takes the most
A
work.
lot of corners, pins.
Right, it's not about the length of paving, it's about how many different property corners and points of curvature and straightaways there are. They probably put in 30 pins when they surveyed the
Not
entrance.
much straight out there.
What's that?
Nothing really straight out there.
Right. But, you know, every lot's got 4 pins at least on each corner. And not that all those will get disturbed, but we have to establish our right of way out there, so we,
When do you think this will happen?
it'll probably get started right away. There's some research that needs to be done and some initial surveying. And then there's several steps of the way. And then pretty much take a break until construction comes about. Staking during construction, and then reset the monuments afterwards.
I see there's some dates on here.
This dates for when we receive the road alignment data. So as they do their research, they will say, let's say this section corner is the end of the project at station 0, and so that we can build our plan set for the contractor based on those stations. So we need a little bit of information from them soon, but half or more of the cost will be next year.
This doesn't need a stamp?
Just to sign the signature block after your motion.
You wanna make a motion?
I will, I'll make a motion to approve the contract with HRS Surveying for Monument Preservation on LFM R20 North, 7X-95, LFM-R50/A30, 7X-95, and LFM R16 South, 7X-95, and LFM Rice Lake, 7X-95.
I'll second what she said. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the contract with HRS Surveying. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
I know you don't need it, but we need it. It's coming up, don't we?
We don't have a PO number, right?
Not yet. I'll put one on there after we go back.
All right. Possible closed session to discuss the purchases or sale of particular real estate pursuant Iowa Code Section 21.51J.
You're gonna do 9 first?
Yeah.
Oh, did I miss that one? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's retract what I just said. Consider for approval engineering services contract with Snyder and Associates for 500th Street Grade and Pave Project, the LS 73-95, and authorize the county engineer to sign the contract.
So this is a surveying and design contract for the project near Estes Farm Supply. As I mentioned in my email, Paul Jacobson was the Humboldt County engineer for a long time and now works for Snyder and Associates. And so he's really familiar with county work, and he's a guy I trust. They put together this scope to handle surveying, design, and construction staking. Our staff would handle the right-of-way acquisition, most of the bidding process, and inspect the construction. We had originally had $170,000 or so in the cost estimate for engineering. This contract totals $110,000. The hourly, not to exceed contract.
What was that number again?
10?
$110,200 is what this totals. Most of the money is in the plan preparation and design of the project. So they're gonna, once they get some surveying work done, they have the contract, then they would come to us with that kind of raw data and scope out the project, decide how tall the road should be, how wide the shoulder should be, how much right of way we need, figure out some of the large parts of the project that will dictate the cost so that we can kind of work that into the budget that we have. They know that number, we know that number, and that's all we got. So we got a scope of project that fits the budget, and they're comfortable with my cost estimates that I've given them, so I think we're in good shape with this.
So this will, their services will tell us if we have to have additional right-of-way plans purchased?
Yeah, I mean,
or
I think
have
we
you-
pretty much have that, wouldn't say decided, but I think we know what we want to do is have 100 feet of right of way
And
for
we
all the parts that are being regraded.
talked to the land owners
I've talked to Harlan several times already, Harlan Osmus, about possible right of way, possible borrow dirt,
and he's
access management.
affirmative on all of it, I would assume.
He is.
Yeah.
And when we get into the concept development of this, we'll confirm all that so that we can kind of incrementally move forward and not have to revisit those decisions.
That's what I was trying to kind of get at, is that we need to have those affirmations in place before we pay $110,000 for
Yeah, I'd
something
say.
we know we're gonna use.
Yeah, based on my conversations with Harlan, we're in fundamental agreement about what the project should look like and what some of the obstacles are, some things like access during construction, things like that. I think we are comfortable enough to be full steam ahead.
Good.
Paul wrote this up so that I was listed as the signatory here, so that's why I changed it and wrote that if you approve it, you authorize me to sign it.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to see it again. I sent it to you.
Any questions on something?
Oh, it's just, yeah. About a year to start construction. So the timeline for construction is gonna work good for them then?
I told them that we're looking to bid a project in December, and that's included in that contract. So, because it's local money without Iowa DOT reviews, without a lot of the steps involved in that, we're able to fast track the project and move through things as fast as they have people to commit to it. One of the only hangups might be power pole relocation. But if the construction's scheduled for summer 25, that gives them about a year to get things relocated.
Who's the power out there?
Heartland Power. We did a little bit of staking the other day just to verify they are in the current right of way. So it is by rule their responsibility to pay for the relocation costs. That conversation might resurface, I expect, at least a few times, just to make sure that.
So we'll be
Handled correctly.
We'll be expanding the right of way where the current paving is too. Or not?
The current paving is already in 100-foot right of way,
Oh, it is,
so I
okay.
think that east and west, we won't be buying any right of way, only north
So
and
does this
south.
project include repaving?
It includes repaving all the way back to Rake.
Okay.
So all the new stuff plus an overlay or some sort of rehab to the half-mile plus from Rake to Harlan's residence.
Okay. So those will all be on the same schedule going forward?
Probably. There is a chance that we split the paving and the grading work to try and get the best bids by sort of compartmentalizing the type of work. Because we have paving on R20, so does it make sense to bid two jobs separately? We got to just talk through that a little bit.
Okay.
Some people don't want to be a general contractor, some people do. Some people can get bonded, some people aren't used to that. So, it's like I talked to Kenny Kuchenbecker the other day, they're up there, they're close. He would do a good job, but also not interested in babysitting subcontractors and hasn't been, doing county projects and getting bonded. So there's some adjustment there, So we'll probably talk to him some more and see if we can structure things so that he's able to bid if he's interested.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the engineering services contract with Snyder and Associates for the 500th Street grade pave project.
I'll second.
Motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the engineering services contract with Snyder and Associates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Now we are on to number 10, closed session to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J. Okay. I've already read number 1, so I'll just reiterate. Possible closed session to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J. It is my understanding the Board of Supervisors requests that this matter proceed in closed session. Closed session for the discussion of potential purchase of particular real estate is necessary because premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the county would have to pay for the property. So I will move that the discussion of the potential purchase of particular real estate shall be made in closed session because premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the county would have to pay for the property. That is my motion.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to,
I need a roll call vote.
Yep.
Derby?
aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. It has been moved to hold a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J, and the members of the board have voted unanimously to hold the closed session. I ask that all persons other than the supervisors, county attorney, and county auditor leave the room until we come into open session again. part of the
Okay.
Discussion.
entourage that's allowed to be here. Concerned parties,
Mhm.
affected parties.
This is the closed session for May 21st at 10:20 for the secondary road
You wanna,
discussion.
we should probably indicate who else in the room.
Supervisor Derby, Supervisor Smith, Auditor Weiss, Engineer Scott Minders, and Ethan Shutter, Maintenance Superintendent. That's off.
I didn't see you do it, sorry.
We ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's kind of a make or break point with our shop project, I think. We found a property in